Hello and welcome. My name is Karishma Patel and I'm your host for the It's Not Selfish podcast. I'm so happy that you're here today and thank you for listening and tuning in. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. And let's get into it. I have a really special guest today. Nirali Shah, welcome to the It's Not Selfish podcast.
Big fan. Big fan
of yours. I can't believe after so much time.
I know.
We finally got it.
We got it.
We finally got you here.
Schedules matched.
Now tell us, Nirali, who you are and what you do.
Cool. So I'm Nirali Shah. I'm the owner of Nirali Shah Events.
Yeah.
I feel like I talk about that as like an identity. I've been doing it for 15 years, so almost half of my life. So I do weddings, South Asian weddings, or South Asian fusion weddings.
Yeah.
And I specialize in destination weddings. And that's actually how I got to meet you.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool and pretty special. I was your wedding planner.
Yeah, she was.
A while back.
2 years ago.
2 years. Doesn't it feel like a lot longer?
Yeah. But it also feels like just yesterday at the same time.
Such a beautiful wedding.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm based in Texas, born and raised in Houston. Went to school in Austin. Hook 'em.
You, my husband, Bijal, Sarl. Oh my God, everybody.
Everybody. And now I live in Houston with my husband and my dog. And
We're going to get back to the whole husband thing, but go on.
Yeah, and I'm looking to move to New York this year, so that's exciting.
Shut up. So many surprises today.
I know. We haven't caught up in a while.
I know. You catch up with my dad more than you catch up with me.
I talk to KP's dad once a week, at the very least.
My dad has adopted Nirali.
Yes.
She's our adopted sister.
I talk to your dad 2 to 3 times a week during your wedding planning, and I talk to him once a week still.
He's obsessed with you. He loves you.
We love him.
As a daughter.
As a daughter, yeah.
No, so Nirali wasn't even supposed to be my wedding planner. We all have to thank Bijal, Miss Bijal
Thank
Patel.
you, Miss Bijal Patel.
Also my neighbor. She is the reason why Nirali said yes to me, because I reached out to Bijal and I was like, hey, I was supposed to get married in India, but it all fell through because of COVID at the time. And I was like, it's just not safe. And so it was literally 8 months before my wedding that we planned. And then she was like, okay, I'm going to hook you up with my best friend, Nirali. So I emailed Nirali and Nirali was like, you know, I can't take this wedding. And my husband, Shay, he convinced her to take us on. He's like, no, if we're going to go through with this, we want you.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm so glad.
Yeah, and Bijal was like, hey, you have to do this. Like, you're going to love her. I was like, okay.
And did you expect it to be that big?
I feel like everything turns bigger.
Yeah.
Even when the expectation for it to be smaller is there, like it always ends up being bigger.
Yeah.
But that's just the name of the game of Indian weddings.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be much smaller. And then, you know, my dad gets involved and he kind of went big or go home.
That was your dad's wedding too.
Yeah, it wasn't mine. It was actually just his. The only thing I wanted was my trees during the walk down. That's beautiful. It. Which was epic.
It was.
Yeah. That was
really was. I have another wedding there next year.
Same location?
Yeah.
Marriott PV.
Yep.
I got married in Puerto Vallarta. And anyone looking for destination weddings, they always message me and I always give your name. I'm like, Nirali Shah, if you want it.
I appreciate that.
Because they asked me, like, do you know any wedding planner, especially South Asian, that will specialize in destination? I said, yeah.
The crazy thing is, I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
I started my company almost like 8 or 9 years ago. Maybe more now. I can't even remember. And I have never done any marketing, like truly. I don't have a business card. I've always been word of mouth.
That's amazing.
Isn't that wild?
Isn't that so special, though?
It is. It's actually...
Like, you literally don't have to do anything. Your wedding speak for itself. That's, like, epic.
It's pretty cool, I have to say. I mean, I worked hard and I got here, but, like, I love that everything is so organic through someone I know or through someone whose wedding I've done.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, like, marketing in and of itself.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Everyone's obsessed with... I still get messages about...
I do, too. About your wedding. I do, too.
I'm, like, on people's slideshows. I'm like, oh, shit. Our wedding made it?
It's gorgeous.
It was gorgeous. Epic.
Really
I really want to go back and just relive the whole...
I also think that your attitude and your like demeanor throughout the entire wedding made it that much more fun.
It was really fun.
Like,
I don't think I yelled at you.
Stress free.
I didn't yell at you, or I don't yell at anyone.
You don't yell at anyone.
Except for when we were planning and I was getting frustrated. That's the one time I slipped up.
You
I was
never
like,
even
everybody stop.
You never even yelled.
Yeah.
You knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
That was the best part. But like throughout the weekend, you just had so much fun. I still remember during the ceremony. Do you remember when your priest walked up to get chai?
Oh,
he walked off the mandap to get chai, and I was like, I need you to go back to the mandap right now. And he's like, I'm just getting chai. And I was like, please go back to the mandap. And afterwards, I was like, oh my gosh, KP, I'm so sorry that happened. You're like, what are you talking about?
I was like, I don't even know what happened.
I was like, you don't remember when your priest got up to get chai? And you're like, I was having so much fun on the mandap that I didn't notice that.
Because I didn't feel like there was any space, or I don't think anyone else noticed either. Everyone was just
I think I was
and,
just the one that was like,
yeah,
I need you to go back.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that he was missing in the morning, or
oh my God.
I was like, what?
That was the best. He's like, I was up super late. I was like, well,
you were partying? What the heck, Maharaj? What are you doing out here?
But he did a really good job. It was like a fun
He's
ceremony.
really funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the best part is I also had a partner who also
had the
just
attitude
had a really
that
great attitude and a great time. But do you remember 3 days before my wedding started, I got everyone in the penthouse and I was like, everybody sit down right now. You were there too, and Neha sir was
we
there.
did the timeline review. Was that the timeline review?
I don't know, but everyone was in my room and Neha was doing my sister's Mindy, and I was like, okay, everybody sit down. I need to have a serious conversation. Do you hear this voice level? No one can speak higher than this. If you speak higher than this, then I need you to take a step back and ask yourself why. We have Nirali, we have our whole team, and we are here to enjoy. And I think since I had that conversation,
everyone had fun.
Yeah. Except for my mom, she had one little slip up, and I was like, Mom, you just need to take a deep breath. Like, how is the bride telling the mom?
Dude, I have to say, though, like, everyone was so fun that weekend.
And there was no drama. Like, within my guests, within my family, within Shay's family, like, it was just a really good time.
I remember at the end of the wedding, Shay's family just came up to me and was trying to hook me up with one of your cousins.
I know what
Do you remember?
Yeah.
I did end up going on a date with them. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me.
So funny, though.
So funny.
Like, they were all just, like, having so much fun. They're like, wedding planner, come here. Come date one of the boys here. And I'm like, I'm working, actually, but...
We're like, you don't have to work anymore. It's all going well.
Yeah. They ended up giving him my number. I was like, after the wedding.
Yeah. So funny.
Gotta love a good Guju wedding.
No, that was a good wedding. That's another thing. What would be your number one tip for brides getting married?
Okay, so this is actually really fun because obviously I've been a wedding planner for all these years, but I became a bride.
Yeah.
This past October.
It's crazy.
Which has been a really cool experience, getting to be on the other side or experiencing the other side of what you have been through and what my brides are going through.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely makes me a better planner. And I used to always say, like, I wonder what I'll be like. And I think I'll become better when I know what it feels like. And I totally get it. It's
so overwhelming.
It's wild. So, like, my number one piece of advice would actually be don't listen to anybody else's expectations, desires, wants, and just really sit down and figure out what it is that you and your partner want out of the celebration of your love and relationship. And everyone else will eventually get on board. Just, like, stand your ground.
I agree. I couldn't agree more with that. The only thing I would add to that is there are traditional things that are both parents do want. And I think when that happens, you need to have a little bit of compromise and grace because it's also their first time doing this or second time. And they just want some things. And that's where I was like, okay, my mother-in-law wants this, my mom wants this, but overall, I want this.
Yeah.
How can we make everyone happy?
Yes. And also, like, what are the things that you are not going to be able to, like, have pushed on, and what are the things that you're a little bit more lenient on? Like, pick your fights, pick your battles.
Yes.
But, like, I totally agree. Like, tradition and, like, the religious aspect of it, a lot of our family wants it to be really special from that side of it. The picture my dad keeps saying, like, as a girl dad, it's my greatest honor to, like, be able to do the kanyadan, which is like the giving of the bride. And it's hard to understand when you're not in that position, but also like my husband only has brothers.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, but it is, like, to them.
Yeah.
So it's, just pick your battles and know what you're willing to, like, give and take on.
Yeah, I wanted to walk down alone, but that wasn't going to happen. They fought me, and I was like, you know what? I just don't want to fight. And if you guys really feel strongly, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's completely okay. Sometimes
it's worth the compromise.
It's also their first time living, so
yeah,
you can't forget that.
That's so true. That's such a great statement.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot lately, and it gets me so emotional. But that's one tip, and then my tip would be, when that weekend comes, just let the fuck go. You cannot hold on to anything. Like, if something goes, things are not gonna go as planned.
That's what, like, the point is, to have someone there to help.
Sometimes you'll start an hour late. You can't stress about that. Like, okay, we're still gonna show up.
Yeah.
We'll catch up. We'll show up. We'll still have a good time.
Exactly.
I think that's why I had a really good time. Right when the first day of the events began, right when I landed in PV, I was a whole new person. I was like, I'm here. We did all the work to get here.
Yes.
Now it's on Nirali and her team.
Yes. And you know, that's the best feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of my brides who are like, just like me, like super on top of things.
Yeah.
Most of them are also just like you are. Like, when they get there, they have this trust built.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can have fun now.
But you made it easy because you came almost everywhere with us. You even came to our house.
That's the best. That's the best piece.
That's when I was like, Nirali's our girl. She's gonna make sure that we're all happy. And you assigned a person for each person.
Yeah.
Like, my mom had her assistant. I have my person. Mine was Priya. Shay's was Neha.
I have some really good photos from that day where, like, Priya helping you with your outfit.
I know. She helped me go pee too. Oh my God, that's another story. That was so hard.
It's really fun. Like, we become part of the families, which is, it's so amazing. But it's also, like, I think the biggest thing for me that makes me sad is that I'm so ingrained for the whole year or year and a half with this family, and I'm like part of every conversation. I'm talking to them like multiple times a week. I'm seeing them in person, staying at their home. And then once the wedding is over, like, I'm not doing weekly calls anymore.
I know.
And I don't get to see you anymore. And all my brides and grooms are like, you forgot us. I'm like, I could never forget you. It's just,
I'm busy.
There's
another wedding.
There's a new family that I'm part of right now. And it's pretty cool, though.
How do you make space for all that? For new families and to let go of old, but also keep in touch.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot.
I think emotionally it can get really overwhelming sometimes. But I feel like I've always been a little bit of I've always been afraid of change. And it's funny because my life is constantly changing. I think I find comfort in knowing that those people are always going to be a part of my life. Like, I could wake up tomorrow in a city and need something and know someone that I could call family.
Oh, for sure.
And that's a cool feeling.
That is pretty cool.
And I was actually just in Europe, in Barcelona, and one of my clients was on their honeymoon, and we figured out that we were in the same city for like a few hours, and they pushed their train to their honeymoon. It was the first day of their honeymoon. They pushed their train to come hang out with us.
Shay and I would do the same.
It's so cool.
We love you.
I know, it's just like such a cool feeling. So making space for it is easy.
Yeah.
I feel like it is emotionally taxing though when you like don't get to follow through on all the hangouts that you wish you could have with everyone.
But you're doing your best, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with I don't want to say bridezilla, but like a bride that's just not having it? How do you deal with that?
That is totally part of the job description.
Because I always know there's so many different personalities.
Yes. And not only brides, it's families.
Mothers, fathers. Uncles.
Cousins.
Yeah.
I think that's like, I always say that I could have been a therapist. But I like love my therapist. But like, I think I could have totally done it. I try to relate and put myself in everybody's shoes as much as I possibly can. It is totally a emotional experience that everybody is going through. Like, whether you're a billionaire or, you know, you have little to your name, when someone gets married, it is the most emotional thing that happens in their life. And it's the most money they're going to spend on probably anything in their life.
Yeah.
So I try to think about it that way. Like, I really definitely put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
I remember your dad and I had a conversation where I was like, I'm going to save this dollar here and I'm going to do this there. And He's like, I like you because you treat my money like it's yours.
Yeah.
And like,
That's why he loves you.
I feel like that building that rapport and helping people understand, like,
Yeah.
I am totally here to be part of your family and do what you would want. I think brides get frustrated and overwhelmed because of other things.
And other people.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so, like, being a friend sometimes, like, I've had brides call me crying just to talk about something they couldn't talk to their partner about because it was, like, causing some tension, and, like, they just needed to they're like, I don't want to talk to my friends about it. I don't want to talk to my partner about it. I just need to let it out.
I know. I remember I called you once crying because my dad wasn't talking to me.
I don't remember that.
I don't know. Did I call you or did I figure it out and then called you?
I think you told me about it, but I don't remember you crying.
I didn't call you crying. I called my friend crying. There you go. I never cried in front of you.
Not for
I was
me.
just like, oh, I'm so upset right now.
You were frustrated, but
Yeah.
everyone's frustrated.
Yeah.
Especially the month before the wedding. That's like, I know, 30 days out, I'm gonna get a phone call of frustration, or someone might just be like,
the seating chart. That shit fucking.
oh my God, every time.
shit.
Or they might just take it out on me a little
Yeah.
bit. And I
don't think I ever took it out on you.
You didn't. And sometimes it happens, and even if you did, it's like, it's cool.
Well, for me, right when those 30 days hit, I just amped my therapy to once a week. So you know what? I'm not gonna take it on anyone.
You had someone.
Yeah, I was just
Which
gonna.
is so smart.
Yeah, because I've been going to therapy a long time, but I freaking knew by the time it comes around, it's gonna.
I used to do.
Oh, that's another advice, brides. Please start therapy.
Yes.
It will help so much.
Yeah.
So much.
I also like really love the idea of like couples therapy before weddings. You know, like they do that like with the church, like
Yeah.
they do that, and it's really cool
I think that is awesome.
to see what they talk about. Like they talk about finances and like kids and like how
Things that they should be talking about.
yeah.
Before.
And you kind of do talk about it, but they ask you hard questions.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
It's really cool actually.
That is really cool. So how did you get into the wedding industry? You said 15 years ago?
Yeah, so I was 17.
17
Isn't that
years old?
wild? Yes,
You already knew? Like, this
no.
is what I want to do?
I was a debate nerd.
Okay.
So I'm really good with contracts, actually.
Yes, you are, actually.
I was captain of the debate team for 2 years in high
I
school.
love that.
Went to college, decided that I wasn't going to join the debate team because I wanted a little bit more of a college experience. So I did like dance and like took some cool classes. I ended up becoming a comm major. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to law school after college. Like it's just kind of there. And then I wanted to travel for a bit. But while I was in school, I went to India for a summer, and so I couldn't get a job because I was only at home for like a month. And I got connected with like a wedding planner during my cousin's wedding, or like a wedding decorator who connected me to a wedding planner. And she was like, yeah, come work with me on weekends. So I started, and I was getting paid as a college student to go to parties and like be at weddings, and like it was so fun.
That's awesome.
So I did it for like 2 years, just like working weddings with her and learning a lot and meeting people. And then after college, I traveled a bit, and I decided I wanted to just kind of do this for a bit. And so I got hired for a company in Dallas, moved there. My dad was like, get it out of your system, kind of. Learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about events, and really found a passion. But I was doing like 30 to 40 weddings a year, which is really unsustainable. I was like really young.
How big were they?
So I wasn't like the lead planner on all of them.
Okay.
I was just working them, but it's physically taxing,
Yeah.
mentally taxing. So about 3 years in, I decided I was going to go to law school. So I moved back to Houston, and I started studying for my LSAT. And while I was studying, I took a wedding on through a couple who had already done their wedding. And it was like 2 weddings that I took on, and they were paying for my like life while I was studying. And by the time I got into law school, I did get into law school, which was really nice because I, at that point, was like, at least I got in. I know I could.
Yeah.
But then at that point, I decided that I really loved this and I wanted to see where it went. And I told myself, if in a year it doesn't turn into anything, then I'll go to law school.
Yeah.
But it did, and I loved it. And I just never wanted to look back.
And that's how Nirali Shah Events started.
My dad literally told me that I had to pay taxes. So I had to start an LLC. Otherwise, I was like, it's cool. No big. He's like, no,
you have
You
to.
have to pay taxes.
You're gonna go to jail.
I know. I was like, taxes? I have to pay money.
What is that? Is that? Have you seen
So
the Schmidt?
Yes. Schitt's Creek,
Schitt's Creek.
where he's like, I'm just gonna write it off.
I'm gonna write off. And they're like, who?
It's a write-off.
It's a write off. Yeah. It's my
Yeah, that was
favorite.
me. I was.
Me too. When I
literally-
first started.
And it was like I'm still learning
Yeah.
every day.
Same.
So, but yeah, that's how it started, and that's where it is now. And now I have a huge team.
I know you have an amazing, incredible team. I got to work with a few of them.
Yes.
And
we've grown, and
yeah.
it's been pretty cool. Pretty cool to see what like this small passion turned into.
Yeah. And that's how people should know. If you really love something, just fucking go for it. You might not
Yes.
have the money for it.
Yes.
But it will come.
I always used to say, like, I mean, if I'm poor, at least I'm doing something I love.
Yeah.
And eventually it'll turn into something.
Yeah.
People will pay me eventually.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty cool to see that I can, like, make a life off of something that I love.
I agree.
A lot of people don't get to do that.
That's so inspiring. I agree. And it's because there might not be enough support, and there might be some pushback. There might not be
yeah.
enough
Got a lot of pushback.
confidence to, because you're doing something out of the ordinary of
Yeah.
being a lawyer, doctor, or accountant, or business person.
Yeah.
I did the same thing, and even now, I don't have, like, content creation doesn't bring you lots of money, but we're lucky we have side projects. But I do want this to be my main thing.
Yeah.
But your story keeps inspiring me and others to.
I mean, when you're
Keep
good at
freaking
something
going.
too, and someone can tell you, like, hey, you're really good at this.
Yeah.
And you know it in your heart, but there's always this feeling of, like, but can I make a career out of
Yeah.
this? Yes, you definitely can.
That's where I'm at right now.
You definitely can.
You too. I love that.
You're so good at what you do. Like, you
I
definitely
do
can.
truly love what I do, because I honestly, for me, it's like I just want people to be happy,
Yeah.
and I want to bring that
And you
joy
do.
in their lives.
It's so funny. I love seeing your content sometimes and just like laughing or
That's-
getting like a push on a Monday morning, like just being like, I got this. I can get through this.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, you're freaking incredible. You
So
inspire
are
me
you.
every day. Stop. Stop it.
Girl love.
Yeah.
It's really cool though to see like our friends like doing cool things and pushing boundaries. Like all of my cousins are doctors and lawyers
Yeah.
or accountants. And my cousins used to be like, why are you doing this? And now they're like, can we quit our jobs and come work for you? Like, we're so
Oh, what happened? You didn't want to. You were asking me why I was doing this.
older sibling syndrome, just like trying to keep you protected.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like, my parents and my sister, so supportive.
Oh, I had so much. I love that because I had so much pushback from my dad. You know my dad, one track mind. And mother, she's a go with the flow kind of queen. We love her. But my dad was like, why isn't it making you millions of dollars? And I was like, Dad, maybe it will one day, but maybe it won't. But I'm really happy. And he didn't get it. He's like, social media, what is that? And I'm like, you'll get it one day.
Because
Trust me, Dad.
all they knew when they came here is like, we got to make some money.
Yeah.
We got to like
yeah,
push forward.
which I understand because they did
circumstance.
everything they can to get us here.
And they did so good.
Yeah, and I'm forever grateful. But I have to also remind him, like, you brought me here. I mean, I was raised here
Yeah.
because you told me
I could do anything I want.
exactly. Well, kind of, right? Doctor, lawyer, doctor,
You're
lawyer.
living that dream.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he gets like people come up to him and go, "Oh my God, you're KP's,
KP's dad."
He's like, "Oh my God, someone came up." I was like, "Shut up, you're lying."
Such a good. My parents said that actually. They were at your wedding.
I love your parents so much.
Yes, and
They're the
they were
cutest
like, it made us so proud to see all these people saying that they love you and that you're so great. And I'm like, that's sweet. Like, thanks. You know, because I don't take them to all these weddings.
Yeah.
They came
Was that
to
their
yours.
first one?
It was the first one they ever came to.
Wow.
I know.
It was a good
It was
wedding
very
to be at.
special. Yeah, it was so special.
They were so awesome.
They would just like sneak in.
They're
and,
so like supportive, and also they were just like any corner I saw them, they were doing something. I'm
Yeah.
like, Auntie, I'll go, just chill.
I called my dad in the morning. I was like, this priest, I need help.
And your mom,
Please. He wants to go get chai, and I told him no. I told him one of my assistants would, so you need to go get him chai right now. And Mom, you need to go help him with this because he's late.
he's so
It was
funny.
hilarious. Yeah, they're the best. I remember one time my parents drove me overnight. I had a wedding in Houston, and the next day I had a wedding in Dallas, and I was working in Dallas. And they were like, no, you can't drive because you haven't slept. So we're going to drive you to Dallas, and then we'll drive back that same night. So at like 1 a.m., they drove me to Dallas, and like so I could sleep in the car, and then drove back to Houston. Isn't that so sweet?
That's amazing.
I think about that. Like, so supportive.
Like they'll see, that's the thing. They won't start with support, but then they see that this is
Yes.
something you're not gonna budge on.
Yes.
They're gonna be like, okay, you know what? We're just gonna have to jump on it.
Yeah, and it it is such a big, it's like a game changer.
And that's why follow your passions, friends, because
Agreed.
so you really don't know what will come out of it.
You really don't. And I see all these young girls. I remember I had this one intern. She's amazing. She's a content creator. You might know her, Neha Dharma. She lives in New York. She's younger.
Maybe. I think I do.
She's awesome. And I remember when I first met her, she was interning with me, and she was like, I want to be an actress. And I was like,
oh,
good
I
for
know
you.
who you're talking about. Did she do the DDLJ
Yeah.
Broadway?
She did.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, but it's like, this is what I want. And I know I want it. And I was like, do not let anyone tell you that you cannot do
For
this.
real.
I remember we had like lunch one day. I was like, don't let anybody stop you from that. Like,
Yeah.
you can do it.
Yeah.
And I see her content. I just like smile because like I love that she's chasing her dreams.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I love that. I have a cousin as well, and she's an interior designer now. Everyone in my family told her, why are you doing that? What is that going to bring you? Blah, blah, blah. And she told me she would like cry, and I was like, no, you know what? You know why they're doing that? They're uncomfortable with being outside of the box. And you are showing them that they can do something outside of the box, but they're scared to take that step. So you owe it to yourself.
Show it to them.
And to them that you can do things out of the box.
And you know what's really nice is that we have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Like, I could have done it, completely fallen on my face and failed.
Yeah.
And I could have come home to my parents and been like, I failed. I'm going to try again. And they would have been there to carry us like back to...
Like, they'll talk shit a little.
Yeah. They'll tell us.
I told you.
But still, like, we're lucky. And a lot of people don't have that either. So definitely fortunate to have what we have.
Very
to, like, be able to take the risk. But, yeah, I think in any case, you should.
Yeah.
It's worth
I
it.
think life's not worth it if you're not taking any risk.
Agreed.
But then there are some people that like to just live a chill life, which is fine too.
Totally. I completely agree.
Yeah. So you got engaged last year. Now you announce that you're married. First, one, congratulations.
I literally...
Two, where the fuck was my invite?
I told KP, like, we sat down, the first thing I said, I was like, by the way, I'm married.
I was like, what?
Yeah, okay, so...
You can't just drop a bomb on me like that.
We eloped.
Which I was going to ask you, how did the pressure of being a bride?
Yeah.
Because you throw epic weddings, so I'm sure the pressure was on.
I think it was a few things. Like, we got engaged, which was, like, one of the best days of my life. Like, totally tricked me.
I love that.
Like, one of my designer friends told me that I was going to help her with, like, a setup for a photo shoot or for a wedding. And she's like, it's super simple. I'll book your flight. Here's your hotel. Here's the photographer, who's this, like, world-renowned photographer that's, like, I just would never have expected her to be in on it.
Yeah.
And I knew that, like, Neha, my partner, my business partner, would have to be there. So she had a wedding that weekend. So I was like,
oh, yeah, I remember.
This isn't happening. Anyways, I show up. It's, like, raining outside. And I keep texting him, like, what's the rain plan? What's going on? No one's, like, really giving me an answer. And I'm like, this is absolutely disorganized. Like, what is going on?
And for you, disorganization is such
I was like
an
asking
ick.
so many questions, and eventually I get there. I didn't have my glasses on, so I'm like walking and looking around for like flowers, and eventually I like finally see Keshav, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's happening. I almost wore a hoodie.
Oh my God.
My sister like gave me her coat, and then I proposed, and then we went and took some pictures and had a glass of champagne, and then we were supposed to meet our parents for dinner, but of course I kind of knew in the back of my head
it was your friends.
But he told me that we were going to go to Austin the next day to celebrate. So like I really did believe him because it would make sense.
You
like,
guys were in
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago.
So I was like, yeah, no one's like, it would make more sense for us to fly to Austin.
Yeah.
So, like logistically, I was like, yeah, great plan. Good job. And then we got there and I had a room of like 50 people.
I know. I remember Bijal telling me because they were flying out.
It was amazing. And Keisha's like, I had to cap it, but there's so many people. And I felt
People
like
love you so much.
Yeah. And I had a whole weekend of friends and family, and it felt amazing. And then everyone's like, so now what? So now what? And I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I got down to it, and I just had this like feeling of, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to set a shopping date for India. That'll help me. So I set a shopping date for India, went to India, went shopping, bought one outfit, okay? Because I couldn't commit.
Yeah.
Bought all my family's outfits, my grandma ended up passing away while we were there.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think it was like a divine intervention thing that like God told me to go shopping then.
Yeah.
And then we came back and I was like, okay, now I have to plan my wedding because I went shopping.
Yeah.
But we just still couldn't like figure out what we wanted. And then we eloped in December and just were like, we don't want the pressure. Let's just get married so we feel like we don't have the pressure. And we did. We told our parents 2 days before. We set up our little balcony.
Did they freak out?
They were really happy.
Oh, good, because that would be a lot.
Yeah. We just set up like some candles on our balcony and like I went shopping the day before with one of my friends. She came over the next day and like did my hair and makeup, and then one of my friends was going into labor, but she baked me a cake. She's a baker. She baked me a cake before she went to the hospital.
What the fuck?
Isn't that so sweet?
That's a queen right there.
I know.
Women are badass.
That's
it.
Seriously.
She going through labor and she still made a
baked
cake.
me a cake.
God,
it was
yeah.
really special. It felt really nice. It was just family. And then we had like a few friends come over in Houston to just have drinks. My sister wasn't even there because she couldn't come into town. It was just like super last minute.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm going to have a wedding. And now we're at this point where we're just like, man.
That was perfect.
It was pretty great. So we might have to do like the Farahs and stuff, which obviously religiously, but it would just be a family, I think. We haven't like figured it out.
I think that's the most special thing. If I could do that, I definitely would. But my only family would be 100 people still.
That's how I am. My parents are like, what about our
14
cousins?
first cousins.
Same. They're like, we have to invite the extended family. I'm like, that's 100 people.
But I love my cousins.
I
like,
know.
I wouldn't.
You guys are really close.
We are very close. Like,
Yeah.
even though we don't talk every day, every time we link up, we're like,
I'm
it's
the
like,
same.
We are so close that it would feel wrong for
It
me
would.
not
Yeah,
to.
I feel the same. My dad has 7 brothers and sisters, and they all, like, almost all of them live in Houston within 10 minutes of each other.
Yeah, you're just like me in
Yeah.
Cerritos.
Yes.
Do you remember that
Yes.
day when you came that weekend?
You're like, hey, we're just going to have some family over. It was like
Freaking 100 people.
100 people deep. It was so fun.
It was so, and I was like, I feel so bad. She's
Backyard
working
dance
upstairs.
practice.
Yeah.
And I took over the upstairs, like,
Yeah.
drawing room. It was so fun.
It was amazing.
I loved it.
No, well, congratulations.
Thank
we have
you.
to celebrate
Yes.
while you're here this weekend.
I've been just kind of having little celebrations.
That's
It's
good.
been really fun.
No, but that's perfect. It's like you did what you wanted and no pressure.
No pressure.
Because everyone was like, oh, Nirali's getting married. I wonder what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
So much pressure as a
I've
wedding
planned
planner.
every dream wedding.
Yeah. So you're like,
I kind of just, and you know what's funny? I always used to say it like, I'm going to elope, haha, I'm going to
and
elope.
you did.
And I did.
I wanted to do that.
I
I had no choice. Even I told you, I was like,
I
should I just
know.
elope at this
I
point?
said yes.
I know.
I
she
always
said-
say yes.
She always says yes.
You should
I'll
elope.
take you
Yes.
right now.
I'll take you. We'll go elope.
I was like, oh my God, who's going to tell my dad?
I'm not. I wouldn't tell you that. That would not be me.
No, I love
So
that.
fun. But yeah.
So what's your favorite part about
About the wedding or the planning?
the planning? Or both. About planning a wedding and also a part about the wedding.
Planning the wedding, I would say, I mean, I love the logistics. I love being able to like organize people's thoughts and feelings and needs.
I love that.
But
I
also,
always need one person like that.
yeah. But I also really love getting to become part of like someone else's life and family. I do a weekly call with all my clients, even if there's like nothing to talk about. We're
Yeah.
just like talking about something, or we're
Yeah.
just like talking and
Yeah.
hanging out, which is rare, but like still we can like catch up on each other's lives and what's going on. And so we get become really close friends. That's the best part. And then the second best part about the execution is, I think at the end of the day, no matter what, everyone is just so joyful
Yeah.
and happy with like this like unity. Even if I've done weddings where like the families weren't like super excited about the marriage, like they didn't like the pair, but seeing the bride and groom, like there's this one couple I always think of, they were so in love that they just blocked it all
I
out.
love that.
Yeah.
You have to have blinders on.
Yes. And I remember when I was like single and looking for a husband, those were the things that I thought about. Like those type of relationships that just transcend everything around them and you can tell and feel it. I love that.
That's my favorite part too, when you can feel the love.
Yes.
Someone told me, actually one of my younger nieces, she's like, you know, Karishma Foy, I really like that you and Shay would openly just kiss. And you guys didn't really give a fuck. And I was like, you know what? I was really shy, but I was like, I get to get married once, hopefully.
Yes, yes.
And who the fuck cares?
It's your wedding.
All these aunties are gonna complain, and they were like, they just keep kissing. What do you expect?
It's your wedding
I'm
day.
getting married to this man. What do you think happens? Tell me what you think happens.
I remember, do you remember the photo shoot with the umbrella?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
remember you guys just vibing during that shoot,
Yeah.
and it was so cute.
We just have a good time together.
Yeah, and the reception shoot, like right before reception doors open,
yeah.
there's this shot that there's this like photo of like Shay looking straight and you kind of looking to
at
the
the
side.
side.
It's so beautiful. I was standing right there and I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I just feel like you get to do it once or twice, whoever, well, to each their own, but when you do get to do it, you get to just love
it. Yeah.
Like, you have to live it and love it.
I agree.
And if you don't, then you have to ask yourself who you're really doing it for.
Exactly. And that's back to make sure that you and your partner are doing it for you.
Yeah.
And you're doing it for the right reasons and you love what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's why you eloped.
That's why I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your partner was on board.
Yeah.
I will say, Shay was like on board with everything I said. And if anyone said anything to me, he was like, nobody talked to Karishma. This is what she wants.
That's so
And this is what's
sweet.
going to happen.
That's how Keshav is, too.
Yeah.
It's really cute. He gets super protective.
Yeah.
Like, my girls were talking about a bachelorette.
Because he has to deal with the energy after.
He does. I'm going to be, like, upset about it later.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about bachelorette, and the girls were like, you're just not going to do a bachelorette, or you're not going to invite us. And I'm like, I mean, yeah. And then Keshav was like, guys, I think you should just let Nirali do what she wants. And I was like, it's okay. It's okay.
The claws are coming out.
I know. And I'm like, no, it's okay. They're like my sisters. They're allowed to say this. And he's like, I just don't want you to feel pressured.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Which is really sweet. We love him.
We do love him.
I love that.
He's a great guy.
I was going to ask you something, but I totally forgot because we got in the mix of something. But I was going to say, how's life been?
Married life is fun.
Yeah, it is.
He's so supportive. Like, having a partner who understands my travel life, my
Yeah.
work life, my work hours. Girls, get you a man's who will support you in the hardest circumstances. You
Yeah, and not
deserve
feel
it.
insecure with
Yes.
how much you work or whatever.
He's always like, you should be charging for those things. I'm like, no, like, that's silly. And he's like, but why? Like, if you're going somewhere and you're eating, like, you're there for them. Like, you should charge. I'm like, that's so corporate. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, babe, like, you really got to do this. I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. Like, it's just
Yeah.
sweet though. He like has so much to like offer from like a corporate side, and he's like teaching me things, and like, I just really appreciate that. And also, the man can cook.
We love that. I have a chef hubby too.
And
life is good.
Yeah.
Same.
I can't cook. So I'll be like in meetings for like 6 hours, like back to back. And I just forget to eat because that's just like who I am. Everyone
Oh my
knows.
God, you're Shay.
Yeah. But Keshav will like make me a meal, come into my office, just put it down and leave. And it's just like such a love language for me.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, the way to anybody's heart, especially a girl, is through her stomach.
Heck yeah.
Like, feed us.
Feed us.
Feed us.
And like tell us we're pretty.
And tell us we're pretty.
Especially because I'm like in sweatpants all day,
Yeah.
like working.
And stress the fuck out all the time. So have you cut back? Because you said you were doing 30 weddings. Even when you were doing my wedding, you were doing like
10 or 12.
that time.
Yeah.
And I was an exception.
Yes. Remember, I was like, I can't take it.
I
I'm,
can't
like,
take it. Yeah.
booked.
And I was like, please, it'll be worth it. I promise.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, so I cut down. I was doing like 10. I'm still doing like, so this year I was like, I'm only going to do 5 or 6 because I thought I was going to get married.
Yeah.
So I kind of like didn't take a lot. I took like 5. And now that I'm like, oh, well, I eloped. I've been just taking a few just
Okay.
because like they're getting married this year.
Are you taking it, or now that you have a team, do they take
Both.
most of the responsibility?
Yeah, so it just depends. Like, depends on budget, depends on like where. I do a lot more destinations,
Yeah.
so that is nice for me.
Yeah, she has an awesome team in Mexico, by the way.
Amazing team. Neha takes her own 10. I have 2
love
other
that.
planners who take their own like 5, and then I take between 5 and 10. 10 next year probably, maybe 5. I haven't figured it out.
That's good.
Yeah.
At least you're taking a step back.
Oh my
I
gosh,
kept
that's
telling
nice.
you when I was getting married, I kept telling you, you need to take a step back in Raleigh.
I was so stressed.
You were so stressed, and I just
Yeah.
felt so bad. I think
Especially during
another-
your wedding, though, because
Yeah.
I had, like, back-to-backs.
Yeah, and I felt so bad. That's why I also didn't want to add more stress to your plate.
I mean, it was awesome. It was a great season.
Yeah,
it was
a
so
great
fun. But I definitely feel like after you hit 30,
You're like, oh,
your body is just
body's
like,
slowing down.
Yes. It's so funny. Like, I remember we were at like a beach house once, and I like fell asleep first, and Bijal made so much fun of me. She's like, "Why are you going to sleep? It's like 10:30."
You know what? Bijou can't talk. She's a party animal.
It's a party
She
animal.
makes fun of me too because I can't handle more than 2 drinks.
Oh
She's like, KP, you can't bring this attitude out here if you're
Sometimes
gonna.
you need that. Sometimes I just need Bijal in my ear telling
I
me
know.
to go.
I'm like, fine, Bijou.
I know.
Give me
but
one
then
more.
sometimes I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's just,
You seem happier, less stressed.
I'm so much less stressed. I mean, having a team that can take on weddings, and then having a really reliable team that I can count on for everything.
And a good partner.
The partner makes a huge difference.
Yeah, a good supportive system, good environment,
I agree.
all of that.
I think also, like, for my brides and grooms, having a planner that's like able to take on a lot more just stress wise is so nice. Like, the wedding productions I'm doing are bigger, so I don't have to take on like 10 weddings.
Yeah.
Which is so nice because I can focus so much more energy on each of them.
Yeah.
And like really get into some of the fun little things and talk to them 3 or 4 times a week, and like, it's fun.
Is wedding season all year round?
Always.
There's no high or low. That's crazy.
Especially at destination.
Yeah,
right?
because, well, Mexico monsoon season is like India,
Yes.
August to September.
Yes, but people still get married in like
Really?
Houston or like
Oh, Houston, yeah,
or
during that time.
Texas or like up north.
Yeah.
There's still people.
So yeah, it is all year round for you.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. I get to like decide when I want to have some time off
Yeah.
though, so that's nice.
Do you take like a month off?
Yeah, like July 4th is my last wedding for a while, and then I have a month and a half off.
Oh, amazing. Any exciting plans while you're off?
I'm sure. I always like just like kind of randomly like will
Yeah.
hop around.
Yeah.
Like, I was in Barcelona for a site visit, and I ended up extending it for 2 more weeks.
It was amazing. Well, your trip looked awesome. I'm gonna need some tips.
Oh my gosh, I'll send you everything. Parking pita is like, that's like the highlight of everything. It was the best food. But like, my client was like, good for you. I was like, I'll be here. I promise I'll be working. But it was just nice.
No, that's good.
It's pretty cool.
You deserve to take a break.
I mean, to me too, it's kind of still work. I
Yeah.
was like seeing other venues
Yeah.
and getting to meet other vendors, and but yeah, I was like, hey Keisha, book a flight, just come through. I'm extending mine. He's like, okay.
I love that.
Yeah. It's fun.
And so before we end, I have to ask you, how do you, well, 2 things I'm going to ask you. One advice you would give to a wedding planner, upcoming or current, what
Really
advice
good
would you give
question.
them?
Really good question. Actually, this is fun because I feel like I've had the chance to mentor people.
Yeah.
And hopefully get them to be on my team, honestly. But I always say, like, just give it a shot. Cold DM people. That's how I found a lot of people that have worked with me. I used to teach a class actually during COVID, like, of how to get into wedding planning and how to get into South Asian weddings.
Oh, what? That's awesome.
Yeah, and so it was really cool. I had like a girl who started her own company from it, and I still like will work with her like whenever we need each other. But I would just say, like, do it. Don't quit your job yet.
Yeah.
I always say, like, have a steady income if you can, and make
'cause
this a
to
passion
make money,
project.
you need money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it on the side, learn, come intern,
Yeah.
see if you love it. Some people don't.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But yeah, just give it a shot. Find someone local and see if you can work with them. And I promise everyone's always looking. So just try.
Yeah. Try and fail, but never fail to try.
Yes.
Hershad used to tell me that. Hershad's my dad.
HP, baby.
HP tells me all the time. And then lastly, how do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of yourself to the point to stay mentally stable and
Yeah.
physically stable,
That's such a
physically
man.
healthy?
So that's been like one of my biggest goals since
Yeah.
like last year. I think when I took some time off, because I don't eat well.
Yeah.
I'm traveling all the time. I make
Yeah.
bad food choices.
It's hard to have a routine and stuff. So how do
I have
you,
no routine.
yeah.
And so I decided that because I was taking some time off, like, vitamins established vitamins in my life.
You must need after 30 especially.
Yes. I got a trainer. I was just like, I need to go.
Wow.
Even if I'm only in town for a day, I will try to go.
Yeah, proud of you.
Yeah, thanks.
It's hard to move your
hard.
body, especially when you have so much going on.
Yes.
So it's really important to take like a few minutes.
And also, I used to not give myself grace. I used to be like, oh, I didn't go to the gym. Like,
No,
what's the point?
Never beat yourself
One
up.
day is not going to do anything. But now it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go because
It's just a
like,
mood booster.
I need to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I try to make healthier choices now. I've been implementing that for like the last month. No matter what, if I'm out of town, I'll try to make healthier choices in my food selection.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll like indulge, but like
It's all good. I had a Mexican pizza before coming. I had no
yet.
time. Oh my god, I should have brought you some Taco Bell. I was like in a rush. I was like, oh my god, this is the only Taco Bell right
so
here.
funny. No, I'm trying. Oh, I keep like snacks in my bag now. Like,
Good.
and then the mental health part. I do yoga nidra to sleep. It's so amazing. Therapy.
Yes.
And I spend more time with my dog.
Yeah, we love Olive.
Yeah.
Olive is so cute.
She's so cute. I feel like I just spend more time with her, and it gives me such a boost of like life. Like,
Because they're just like happy.
yes,
They're just
the
happy to
love-
be alive and be there, and
the love they give you.
it's amazing.
Amazing. But yeah, I think also balance. Keisha makes me put my phone away during like dinner and like
I
times
make
where
sure
we're
you do the
alone.
same.
It's so hard.
I know, because you guys are workaholics.
It is so extremely hard. He's like, they're not gonna die if you don't respond right now. I'm like, but I'll forget. Like, I don't want to forget or something. But it's helped.
Yeah.
Asking for grace.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's my mom's birthday. I can't really talk today.
Yeah, being honest and open, and also learning how to say no.
Yes. And everyone is so good about it. Like, they're so
Yeah.
kind about it.
I feel like we say a lot of things in our head.
Yes.
Versus when you say it out loud, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, like yesterday, I had a flight delay, and I was freaking out. I was like, I'm supposed to get a call right now, and I'm on a flight. So I was like texting the ride. I was like, can you guys take this without me? I'm so sorry, I'm on a flight. And she's like, yeah, no problem. And I was like, wow, why am I freaking out?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I ditched it,
Yeah.
but it's just, yeah, I think
Because some things are out of your control.
learning that it's okay to not be perfect all the time.
Yes. And perfection is so overrated.
Yeah. It's part of my business, though. You know?
I know.
And I like being perfect. And I am pretty much, but
And that's a wrap.
no, yeah, but just like it's okay sometimes to
Yeah.
just not be everywhere at once.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
That was really hard. I know, because when I met you versus now, you're a completely different
grown
person.
so
Oh my God.
much. Yes.
You just seem so much lighter and happier.
Everyone says that.
Yeah. Your energy's just bouncing off the walls
It's
right
like
now.
the last year of my life. I feel like there's been a huge shift in energy.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot.
Yeah. Miss Married Queen over here.
We could say that it was the marriage, but I think it was
No,
the
I think it was.
self-work.
I think it was a little bit of everything, and
Yeah.
finally taking a step back for sure.
Yeah. I think I love what I do even more now.
Yeah, because you're finally taking time to appreciate it.
Yeah.
When you don't take time to appreciate it and practice gratitude, you're just like rush.
What do you do to practice gratitude?
Before bed, right when I hit the bed, in my head, I'll say 3 things I'm grateful for the day. Like
I'm going to do that.
and you don't have to write it down, because I used to think like I have to write it down, and then I forget, and then I beat myself up.
Like
over
in
it.
your head.
In my head. I
I'm
lay
always
down.
talking to myself in my head anyway.
Yeah. Or if Shay's awake, I'll be like, okay, Shay, well, what are 3 things you were grateful for today? And I'll just say like my dogs, the way he woke me up, and like just little things.
That's sweet.
yeah.
I think that's really nice.
Right when you hit the bed. And that was actually, I got that advice from Jay Shetty's podcast, because
Like
he's
that.
like, you don't have to write it down, just say it in your head.
I'm gonna
Because you don't
take
want to
that.
put it on your phone either. You don't want light in your face at night.
I'm going to take that with
Yeah,
me.
take it.
We'll do that tonight.
It's so easy. You just lay down, you're like, okay, 3 things. Food, roof over my head, my bed.
I like it.
Yeah. Super easy, super simple, super effective. Reminds you of the good things that happened that day.
You're right. And we should be grateful for
Yeah.
life.
We're so blessed in different ways.
We really are.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for
Thank
being here.
you. Thanks for having me and letting me talk about life and weddings and reminisce. This
I'm
is
just
really
so grateful that you finally had the time.
fun. I know. And I just want to say, like, you have some amazing people on this podcast. So I'm
Thank
just
you.
really glad that I got to be on it and feel very special.
You are special. I love all my guests. They're all my friends, and I just love sharing people's stories.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Lo-
Thanks for sharing.
Of course. Thank
Love
you for
you.
sharing. I love you too. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and tune in every week on Tuesdays for new episodes. And remember, it is not selfish to take care of you. It is necessary. Did you get it?